let's get to the offensive line here, guys. And hopefully the offensive line this year will not be as offensive because it's been quite the issue for quite some time now, guys. Andrew Thomas, let's be very frank, is making the roster. The big thing for him is just getting him healthy, keeping him healthy. I'd like to see a full year of Andrew Thomas. I'd love to see it. Imagine how much different the last year could have been with a healthy Andrew Thomas.
It's been a while.
Yep, it's not just a Stain song.
Yeah.
Since I first. Jon Runyan Jr. off year last year compared to what he's done with his Green Bay days. Also got injured for the first time in his career, so maybe the injury was part of the problem. I don't know. You can also say maybe he was protected by his teammates in Green Bay because he was considered the worst of the offensive linemen on the starting line for Green Bay. Maybe he's getting kind of masked a little bit by that. Who knows? It's possible.
Yeah.
John Michael Schmitz, I think, again, safe to say he'll make the roster as well. But this has got to be the year. Like, we got to see the John Michael Schmitz we thought we were getting when we drafted him. I mean, you and I were ecstatic when we got him. Like, really, we thought like this is going to be a really good player. And the injuries, I thought, got to him year one. I expected a better year two, and we didn't get a better year two. But we also had more injuries in year two. Like, this is a make or break year for JMS to determine what he is in this league, guys. And I don't want to oversell. Like, I don't want to overstate this, oversell this as that, but it is. If he's not good, he's not going to be on the team next year because he only plays center. He doesn't have the experience playing guard, but you want to make him a backup like that. So, plus he going to the fourth year on a rookie contract as a second rounder. So there's some money there. So I cannot stress that this is that big of a year for him. And he has Greg Van Roten breathing down his neck there. Remember when he went out, Greg Van Roten played center and played better than JMS at center. And Greg Van Roten has people breathing down his neck. We'll talk about it in a little bit there. I just think that I don't know. I'm just hugely disappointed in JMS. I really am. I really thought this was going to be a good player. And so far, he's been an absolute bust. And you could say bust. He was a second-round pick. That's a bad pick right now.
Yeah, as it sits.
And like I said, I can't even necessarily blame Judge because I think you or I, if we were in his chair, would have said, yep, let's get JMS. We need a center really bad. We got the best one of the draft, one with a really good pedigree coming out of a good school for offensive linemen and has really good tape in college.
Yeah, listen, like, we thought, 100%, we thought he was going late. Shane, we thought it was a great pick. Like, hey, this is what we need. Second round, fantastic. Best guy coming out.
Yep, we were ecstatic. Like I said, I'm just can't believe I've never feel like this is like the wrongest I've been on a player in a long time. And like I said, Greg Van Roten played every single snap, played good at center. There's no guarantee that they don't go ahead and move Greg Van Roten into center and go ahead and put somebody else at the guard position, which we'll get into the backup guards in a minute there because there's plenty of the potentials there. And then, of course, you got Jermaine Eluemunor, he's solid. He's not amazing. He's not spectacular. He's not, ridiculously good. He's just very solid. It's probably the best way to describe him. And you notice he was probably played best at the left tackle position when Andrew Thomas went down than anybody else that went there by far. So, yeah, like I said, it's the offensive line. I have some faith in it. I think there's some positives here. But I also there's some negatives in here too. Yeah. Can Thomas stay healthy? Can Runyan play like he did in Green Bay? Can JMS play like he did in college? Can Greg Van Roten repeat what he did last year? Jermaine Eluemunor is probably the one guy I have no concerns about at all. Just plug and play. He'll do good wherever you put him. That's what he is. Love players like that. Let's see. We got a couple of comments here real quick before we get into the guys who are going to be probably the backups there at that point. Let's see here. Jay says, in my decades of watching the Giants, JMS is going to be one of those guys who has naked pictures of Mara. He will stay too long. I hope not. I hope not. Both. I hope he doesn't have naked pictures of Mara and doesn't stay too long because
yeah, both.
Jay says, Shane Lemieux, no shame. Zimenez just stuck around and did not do anything. I think Shane Lemieux, the problem was they couldn't get him healthy for long enough to cut him. He kept getting re-injured. You couldn't get rid of him.
Stay healthy so you have trade value.
Yeah,
please.
Exactly. David says, online hope and a prayer. This is the season they're actually good, but in all honesty, I have zero faith. It's been way too long since they've been good. But again, last year before all the injuries, they were average. And it doesn't sound like amazing, but considering what we've had, that's a huge improvement.
I was about to say,
I do think Priscilla's a good coach.
When you're ranked at 30 for the past 5 years and you go up to, what was it, 16?
17, around there, yeah.
Yeah. It's a big jump. Like, that's the best play we've seen in 5 years.
Yeah.
Probably close to a decade.
Yeah, like and that, again, this is prior to the injury to Andrew Thomas. That's where they were ranked. So,
yeah.
We'll see what happens, though. Jay says, no power or edge, just finesse dudes. But that works sometimes, too. You know?
They're fancy for that.
Mac, the Giants fans, I was at the draft in KC a couple of years ago when JMS was drafted. Giants fans went nuts when his name was called. Damn straight, we all did. We thought it was an amazing pick. We thought we just solved the center problem. Jay says, yeah, JMS isn't strong enough. He sucks, but he has leadership skills, or whatever he will probably hang around like a bad smell. You just got to play average. Like, that's all I'm asking out of JMS this year, guys. Play average. And then year 4, maybe, then you get into the year above average. You know, I just want to see some growth. I want to see some improvement. That's all I want to see. I don't think that's asking too much. You know, again, I don't try to put ridiculous things on players there. But that's what I want to see out of him. I just want to see improvement. We got to talk about the guy that we probably talk about more than anybody else at the offensive line besides Andrew Thomas. Evan Neal. We'll talk about him as the first backup here. Yeah, it's can he flourish at guard, guys? And you hear good things, and that's always good to hear. I think he's kind of been humbled a little bit this offseason, it seems like. You know, and I'm hoping that is the case, because we know the issues he's had. I was born a tackle. I came out the womb a tackle, and these guys are flipping burgers. They don't know what they're talking about, and all this kind of stuff he's done and said. Like, he's really shown some issues. And I still question if he's built for New York, because much as we talked about the media being the kind of lame it's sometimes here, it's still a lot more hard-hitting than a lot of the media in a lot of places.
It really is.
I think Evan Neal, he gets the one last year. If he can't cut it as a guard, it's time to just cut base for everybody's sake. You know, and his contract is up. We didn't pick up the 5th-year option, so it's pretty much a done deal. He'll be at least probably a free agent at the end of the year. But he's a mauler in the run game. He won't have to worry about setting the edge and stopping the guys from getting around to the quarterback at that point anymore. I'm not going to say that I say I'm optimistic that he's going to be good. I am optimistic now that he is in the best position for him to succeed. Now, if he can go ahead and grab the bull by the horns and actually succeed is a whole different thing.
Yeah.
But he's actually in a position to succeed, which I can't say about the Giants players, by the way. We're talking about one in a minute that point blank has been set up to fail. But Evan Neal is in that situation now. Can he make the best of it? We're going to find out.
Oh, we'll find out, right?
Now, the guy who's put in the position to fail is Josh Azudu. This guy was drafted as a guard. He played guard in college. They were obsessed with moving into tackle. And now all of a sudden, it's like, oh, Evan Neal needs to move to guard. Well, how about freaking how about Joshua Azudu? Move him to guard. Give him the same goddamn shot you're giving to Evan Neal. Because I feel bad for the kid. I really do. Like, you move the college guard to tackle. Wonder why he sucks and you won't give him a chance to play his natural position.
Yeah, Reed Douglas.
Yeah, like, that being said, I don't think he's a good guard either. I don't think he's a good player. I don't think he's a legit NFL player. I wasn't happy when we drafted him either. But you got to give the kid a chance to succeed. If this is going to be his last camp to prove he can do something, then put him in the position to succeed. Don't force him to keep playing out of position, because that's what the Giants keep doing. He's not a tackle. And I'm really hoping that when the camp starts up, that's what we see is we see Josh Azudu at guard. You know, and give him a chance to actually make the roster. Jay says, damn, remember when he was crying in the locker room with the stutter. I felt so bad for him. They botched the kid. Damn straight they did. Though I don't remember him crying in the locker room, but yeah, they definitely botched this kid. I'm telling you right now. Like, we talk about people that like leave the Giants and succeed elsewhere. This is the kid that could do that. Because the Giants have Daniel Jones him at every single possible chance. They put him in the worst scenario possible, moved his position. They've gone ahead and not set him up to succeed and threw him out there. And some of that was because of injuries, but then they didn't throw him back to his regular position afterwards.
You just made Daniel Jones a verb.
I did, because we Daniel Jones. We didn't give him talent. We gave him a bad offensive line, bad receivers, kept on changing the offensive, coordinators around him. We didn't set him up to succeed. Again, another guy I don't think it would have succeeded. But people keep saying, what if? No one's saying that with the Zudu for some reason. It's the same scenario. A guy that got drafted too early, that was not put in a position to succeed, and we don't know we have still. That's what Zudu is. I don't think he's good, but I haven't seen enough to know that. Not at guard. Marcus Bow, or Bo, I keep want to say pronounce the old way that the Purdue people were saying we were scouting him. They gave us wrong information. Marcus Bow. Here's what I'm curious about. Does he hang out with Jalen Hyatt and put 20 pounds on? He's light as a feather, guys. Like, for an offensive lineman, he is the size of a tight end. Like, I need to see more out of him.
Yeah.
That's
at the Golden Corral.
6'4". They said 303 pounds at the scouting combine, but there was times in college he was under 300 pounds. Like, that's really undersized for a offensive lineman. And granted, he's got speed. He's a good speedy guy there. We saw what Jay thought about speedy guys a minute ago, but he's a speedy guy for an offensive lineman, really athletic. But you're in the NFL. Same as receivers can't count on speed. Offensive linemen can't count on speed either.
No.
You got to get strength.
Got
to get strength. That being said, I like the kid a lot. We liked him coming out of draft. We thought he was a third-round talent. We got him in the third round. I like where he's at. And I'm hopeful that he's going to at least produce into a good, I don't want to say sixth man because that's like an NBA term, that a basketball term, but like he could be that guy who is like your first backup offensive lineman. And I think that'd be a hell of a good position for him to be in, because he could play guard, he can play tackle, he can play either side of the line, he can play a lot of places except for center. And there's a lot of value to that, especially at this team with all the injuries we have.
100%.
So, like I said, I'm rooting for the kid. That's for damn sure. Jake Kubis. Definitely had a rough go last year, guys. But he was never supposed to play. I think that this is a kid that you look at him and he was never supposed to play last year. You got forced out there because of all the injuries. Didn't look good. But we knew he was a project coming from a really small school. The Giants clearly didn't want to put him on the field at all. And they kind of got forced into it. So I don't want to give up on him. But I definitely didn't see much last year to make me excited. That's for damn sure. So, yeah. Next up, James Hudson III. Pinky's out as we discuss him. Pinky's out. My Yingling.
That's good.
Wasn't great in Cleveland, guys. Let's be very frank about this. He was not great in Cleveland. What was he? He was better than any backup offensive tackle we had last year. He's an upgrade. Not a great upgrade, but an upgrade.
Yeah.
So I think it's definitely that's the guy that will make this roster. No doubt about it in my mind. Stone Forsythe looked bad in Seattle. Didn't understand why we signed him. Still don't understand why we signed him. Big confused overall. Does Brasillo see something? Because I have to imagine Brasillo is involved in these conversations. When they're scouting these free agent linemen, I got to imagine Carmen Brasillo is involved in this. So maybe he sees something.
That's
maybe,
the problem.
Yeah, it's just true. Not wrong there. That's why I can't take things for granted considering the problems we've had. But it's like I see these things and I keep saying, was this a guy they see something and they like? I don't know. I don't see it happening. Aaron Stinney, solid backup, obviously. Starting experience, both with us and with the Bucks. But we got a lot of linemen, guys. He's definitely a bubble guy. Austin Schlottman. Look good when he's in Minnesota. Plays guard, plays center. Only had literally 3 special team snaps all of last year because he was spent most of the year on the IR. The broken fibula down in the ankle. Broken fibula is kind of hard to get through. Kind of hard to play through. So
just a little bit. You kind of just have to put some weight in that foot.
Yeah. So we'll see how he looks at that point there. But again, he looked good when he played in Minnesota. So I wouldn't say he's definitely not going to make the roster, but he's got an uphill battle coming back from an injury. That's for damn sure. Who I will definitely say won't make the roster, though, is Jason Williams, the undrafted rookie free agent. Can't body. Jimmy Morrison, the center we've had the last couple of years, we putting on the practice squad and on and off the practice squad and off the team and all that kind of fun stuff there. So, yeah, I'm going to say he probably doesn't make it again.
Probably not.
Brian Hudson spent last year split with the Patriots and the Giants practice squads last year. Listen, Giants brought him back because obviously they like something, but you're telling me you're on this practice squad last year for the Giants as an offensive lineman and couldn't see the field?
Yeah, probably not going to see it this year.
Probably not going to see it ever.
Yeah.
So we got the locks: Thomas, Runyan, Schmitz, Van Roten, Eluemunor, Neal, Bo. James Hudson Jr. probably also is going to make it. So assuming we keep 9, that leaves 2 more spots available. My math right here. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 8, actually. I'm sorry. That was what? That's 8. We have 1 more spot available. And that's where you got to have to kind of see who's going to make it. I got to imagine it's going to be between Aaron Stinney, Jay Kubas, and Austin Schlottman.
Yeah, I lean towards Schlottman at that point.
I like Schlottman. I think Kubas is who the Giants want because they like him. He's their project, so I think he probably makes it. And I think that does mean that this is the end of Josh Azudu.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye. So, again, I want to celebrate. I feel bad for the kid. I really do. But that's where we're at with him. Listen, it's probably best for him to go elsewhere and have a chance to succeed elsewhere. It really is. And watch him be a guy that has an actual career in this league too. And the Giants just effed it up. Wouldn't shock me at all. So
they're good at that.
Yes, they are. So
thanks for watching. Like the show? Of course you do, or you would have turned it off by now and not be hearing me. There are plenty of ways to support the show. YouTube is the best place to join us, and we offer memberships there with fun benefits like custom emojis and early access to video clips. Of course, there you can also send super chats and stickers to send one-time support payments. The best way to support the show is to buy these drunk idiots beers at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Along with one-time support payments, there are also monthly plans, so you can continue to help kill their livers each month. You can also show people that you are a goofball by visiting our store at 2giantgoofballs-shop.fourthwall.com. We got everything from shirts, hats, phone cases, funny candles, buttons, stickers, and even a 2 Giant Goofballs towel to dry off your goofballs. Of course, you can always support the show for free by simply hitting the like, subscribe, and share button wherever you are watching or listening to this. Hit the thumbs up on YouTube. Leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It helps the show tremendously, and quite frankly, the goofballs suck at marketing and need your help to get the word out. Thank you for being part of the Goofball Army and for taking the time out to support the show.
If you like that clip,
then you will love the full episodes too.
Find us on your favorite podcast app and look for us on all your favorite social media platforms.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please subscribe.